Well, thank you so much for being here. Come on in, everybody. Come on in and have a seat. Well, it's so nice to see so many familiar faces. I want to thank you all for welcoming me to, oh, Kelly's got some secret notes for me. I want to thank you all for welcoming me and my family to this community. So I just want to start there. It's been 10 incredible months for us. And as I look around across this crowd, I'm so thankful that I can call many of you friends. You've invited me, you've invited me and my family into your places of work, your businesses, some of you, your homes. And I just can't thank you enough. We feel right at home here in Illinois, here in Will County, here at JJC. I want to introduce you to my wife, Tiana. Some of you met her already, and it is her worst nightmare for me to do this, but I have to. My beautiful wife of 11 years, Tiana Namuo. She said she'll be keeping time and doing things like this and this. So for all of you who have meetings coming up, know that Tiana is on your side. I want to acknowledge our elected officials here today, and hopefully I can read. If I can't read this, it is your fault, elected officials. Let me go ahead and acknowledge that right now. Cece DeBold, are you here? Mayor of Shorewood, thank you so much. Michelle Westerloff, District Administrator with Senator Capple's office. Someone named Mayor Chris Brown, City of Morris, is here in the corner. And I'm going to acknowledge the Board of Trustees on a future slide here. Sandra Geary, District 86 School Board member. Sandra, are you here? There you are. Thank you for being here. Bob Odekirk, Joliet Mayor. Is Mayor Odekirk here? All right. Is Joshua McCluskey here for Representative Larry Walsh? Thank you for being here and representing Representative Walsh. Keith Ogle, Mayor of Frankfort. Beautiful town, by the way. Beautiful town, that Frankfort. Mark Greglione, okay. Troy School Board. Mark, thank you for being here today. Mayor Rick Offerman, Manuka Mayor. There you are. Mayor, thank you so much for being here. Pat Mudrin, City Council, Joliet. Pat, thank you so much. JBT, the JBT is here. Jennifer Bertino-Tarrant, Will County Executive in the back there. Cesar Cardenas, City Council, Joliet. Jasmine Rubio, District Director for Representative Avalar. Hi, good to see you again. And Micah Freeman, Will County Board. Hi, thanks so much for being here. All right, everyone, you all are going to participate in something that is going to make you a little uncomfortable. But JJC, you hired a Native Hawaiian president whose culture is very important to him. So you all might be wondering why you have masks, right? We're in endemic times, are we not? Just a head nod, we're in endemic times. Okay, so I'm going to share a big part of my culture with you all. And Trustees Morales and Broderick, you know where this is going. Trustee Budzinski knows where this is going as well, because I shared this with the college community, all of our employees, when I first started here at fall convocation to kick off the fall semester. See, Native Hawaiians feel that there's an energy that flows among all of us. And I feel it now that our students are back on campus. Hi, Josh, Aisha. It's an energy that flows in and around all of us. And Hawaiians have a name for it. It's called mana. And that energy is a real thing. So I invite you, and I hope you'll accept this invitation, to share in my culture. So I'm going to invite, this is going to be my parting gift, the chairman of the board here. Chairman O'Connell, are you ready? Oh, you've got your mask in hand as well. Hold on, let me freshen up a little bit here. Okay. I'm going to teach you all a little bit about my culture. The word aloha doesn't mean what you think it means. Doesn't mean hello, goodbye, love. Yeah, it probably does, but it has a direct translation. Aloha is actually a compound word. Ha is the breath of life. That energy that flows in and around all of us. It's a part of us. And in some cases, binds us and connects us. The traditional Native Hawaiian greeting is forehead to forehead, nose to nose. Chairman, don't leave. Don't leave. Don't leave. Because it gets worse. Don't leave. Forehead to forehead, nose to nose, sharing the breath of life. For those you care about and those you love. Now, Tiana wanted me to acknowledge that you don't just go up to anyone in Hawaii and do this. You might get punched in the face. So this is a very traditional greeting to share the breath of life. So, Chairman, I'm going to invite you. You know, that tomorrow's your last official day as chairman of this board. So this is going to be my parting gift to you. Will you join me on stage? How about a hand for Chairman Dan O'Connell? Yeah, I'm going to need one of these masks too. So, Chairman, we're going to do this up here on the screen. Yeah. See how they're all getting really nervous? Because I'm surprised most of them are still here, actually, because at this point, 25% of them normally leave the room. So we're going to do exactly as you see up here on the screen, okay? And traditionally, we hold it for 42 minutes. But because Superintendent McBride has to get to a 5 o'clock, Mayor Offerman's got to get to a 5 o'clock, Mayor Olgel's got to get to a 4:30, like, we're just going to hold it for about 5 seconds. Are you okay with that? All right, bring it in. Okay. All right. How about a hand for Chairman O'Connell? Oh, good job, Chairman, good job. Good job. So you all have masks. I'm going to invite you to share in my culture. It's going to make you uncomfortable, and I promise there's a point to that, okay? So please rise. If you were able to do so, please rise. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I feel it. Come on, Schiffbauer. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. Now, hopefully you stood next to people you like. Caroline, Yolanda, Katie, Paul, Brian, Chris, come on. Give me 5 seconds on the count of 3. No. Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good. Mayor Brown, okay. Now hold on. I want to make sure Hank's around for this. I want to make sure Hank's around. On the count of 3, I'm going to ask you to connect with the people next to you. Forehead to forehead, nose to nose for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3. All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Was the height difference was a problem for some of you? Yeah, thanks for indulging me. Thanks for honoring me with that. You know, the work around, so let me first acknowledge, right, that college presidents don't look like me. They just don't. So when you get one who looks like me, you better expect that that person's going to put you in uncomfortable situations, be very proud of his or her culture, and want to share it with you. And as we engage in some of the really important work here at JJC, and some of the really important work many of you are doing, hi Lisa, many of the work that you're doing in the diversity, equity, and inclusion space, there's a great lesson to be learned here. Some of you jumped right in and embraced it. All of you were uncomfortable. Not a single one of you is Native Hawaiian, yet you took on that challenge, right? And that's a challenge that we pose and challenge our students to do. right? I want to take a moment to acknowledge our elected board of trustees and our student trustees. I'll name them quickly and invite you all to give them a hand at the end. Chairman Dan O'Connell, Vice Chair Maureen Broderick, Nancy Garcia-Guillen, Trustee Budzinski, Trustee Lee, Trustee Mahalik, Trustee Morales, Trustee Stamborski. Will you all stand and be recognized, please? Thank you for bringing me here and taking me away from all of those predictable weather patterns out west. Yuck. Thank you so much. Now there's been an election, so we've got a newly elected board. I want to take a moment to acknowledge our incoming trustee, Trustee Diane Harris. And as Trustee Josh Stamborski steps off of the board, we're also welcoming with open arms a new student trustee. Aisha, will you stand and be recognized, please? Aisha Ellis. I can't do this work without the president's cabinet, some of whom are not here today doing the good work of the college, actively engaged in that. For those here, will you stand and be recognized? Yolanda Farmer, Kelly Roeder Tonelli, Christy Mulvey. Thank you so much for your leadership. We've got a number of things to talk about today. The first, new initiatives. And many of you in this room have been part of this first big initiative. 12 by 12 by 12 will impact hundreds of lives immediately, thousands of lives in the short term, and tens of thousands of lives over the long term of this project. I want to just take a moment. These past 10 months have been incredible. And this, as the first big initiative under my leadership, has gotten me to Coal City, has gotten me to Manuka, has gotten me to coffee with Superintendent McBride, has gotten me to meet with all of the different area superintendents. I see Carla here. Superintendents in the room, will you please stand and be recognized? That's you, Chris. That's you, Bob, Carla. So I came to them with a vision and asked for their support. From Dwight all the way up to Lamont, from Piatone all the way to Newark, from Morris all the way over to Lincoln Way, Romeoville, Bolingbrook, Lockport, Joliet, and all of the districts in between. No small task. JJC can claim 26 high school districts. The districts represented by the superintendents who just stood up total 40,000 high school students. 12 by 12 by 12 challenges them, all 40,000, mind you, because we've opened it up to freshmen and sophomores, to earn 12 college credits by the end of their 12th grade year and pay just $12 a credit. A game-changing initiative that will drastically increase college-going rates across the 7 counties we serve, the 40,000 students, and across our 26 high school districts. Being here at JJC has been an enormous blessing. Many of you in the hallway asked, how's it going? This smile has not left my face in 10 months because we feel right at home at JJC for so many different reasons. JJC is in a position to support an ambitious agenda. I'm extremely thankful for the leadership of the cabinet, the vision of the Board of Trustees, Dr. Mitchell and the previous administration for putting JJC in a position to do some really big things. And this is one of those really big things. Came to JJC expecting to brag about the foundation of my previous institution. Phoenix College was the largest foundation in one of the largest school districts, community college districts in the nation. And the numbers that I had prepared to impress Christy Mulvey with were half of the numbers that Christy Mulvey and many of you in the room connected to the foundation produce. Thanks to the executive committee of the foundation, its members, foundation, and its staff came forward with an allocation of $500,000. And here's what it's going to go to incentivize students that complete 12 by 12 by 12 and are then interested in coming to JJC. If we can validate that, and we will, we'll cut them a check for $500 if they choose to come here. Now, mind you, because I see Dr. Johnson in the audience here from the University of St. Francis, the vast majority of dual credit students are actually university students. They will earn their college credit from JJC, but the majority of them will choose to go on to the universities across our entire district. Something I haven't shared widely, and I've shared with the superintendents, 1 out of every 3 graduating seniors in our region and our service area does not go to college. And that's the segment we're after here at JJC. Game-changing initiative that's going to impact tens of thousands of lives. And again, want to thank our partner school districts for making this happen. And it's not all magically going to happen, magic wand, president comes in and says, this is how it's going to be. There will be challenges, but I can promise you this, that JJC will be a good partner through it all. And I hope we've shown that. Just a show of hands, how many of you, I'm looking at the Doug Pryors in here, I'm looking at Jen Howard, I'm looking at Paul Gansert, I'm looking at Keith Ogle, just a show of hands. Kayla, you too. How many of you have a JJC story? Okay, now you may not have graduated from JJC, and that's okay. But raise your hands again. How many of you have a JJC story? And I know I've walked these halls with many of you. So what I want to encourage you to do, another reason being in this position is such a blessing for me, is I've had the chance to hear about each of your stories. I had lunch with Paul. I've walked the halls with Keith. Doug can't leave me alone every time he gets in the event center. Every one of you that raised your hand have a JJC story that means something to me and the employees here. That's why we do what we do. And when I play this video, I want you to see yourself in this video. Because here's the vision of Roots and Branches. A mosaic of faces, all different types, all different walks of life, from various levels of the socioeconomic ladder. I want you to see yourselves in these videos because we're going to capture Elisa Morales' story. That's a threat, Trustee Morales. I'm going to hold to that because your stories need to inspire this generation and the next. JJC plays a very special role in this community. So today marks the official premiere of the first 2 stories in Roots and Branches. You'll hear from Alejandro, who will see himself in many of you. But again, I encourage you, see yourself in him because we want to capture your story.
I remember dreaming about stories, watching a lot of movies, TV shows, and just creating stories. Looking out my window, especially in my old bedroom. I used to just look and try to create as many stories as I could. So COVID-19 took a lot of opportunities, and it also provided some. It took away the opportunity for me to start off at Columbia College Chicago as a freshman. And it gave me the opportunity to start at JJC instead, to get my associates in arts and pursue my career in film in a different manner. And in doing so, I had the fabulous time I had here at JJC. Well, the biggest thing is being able to create Facade. Facade was a movie I was able to create with a small group of students. And together we created a short story that was completely original something that I wrote and I pitched to multiple organizations and clubs. That was the biggest project of my life. It was the biggest thing I had going on in my life. So having JJC back that idea up by itself was easily the biggest thing for me. But that promotion was really what fueled the story for Yara, who's the main character in Facade. And because as much as I was climbing, I kind of started to realize how much it was dragging me down outside of work and school. I was kind of friends with other student leaders as well, so we kind of had our own clique throughout campus. So that was like a really fun part and a really good opportunity for me to reach out about my film too. And I actually got all of their help too. I think they all showed up as extras at some point. One person that really stood out to me was Dr. Namoa. He became president of JJC really close to the time when I got promoted. He gave me a phone call in August about something he was able to manage around with other executives that helped me with my academic and professional career. I got one opportunity. I knew I couldn't waste it. I didn't keep my expectations too high, just because of, I didn't really want to hurt myself. But seeing that premiere full, seeing people come up to me and thanking me and for sending a message out, people coming up to me and congratulating me over and over again was extremely welcoming, because at my time in JJC, I was able to start a lot of things, help a lot of people. And that premiere really felt like it went full circle. It's really the people, all the professional people that I've interacted with really strive for a greater community, and I felt like I was a real part of that. And because of so, I feel extremely capable of doing great things in the future.
I'm going to embarrass someone else, because part of the reason I helped Alejandro was someone pulled me aside. Trustee Morales pulled me aside and said, hey, can we help this student? Took him over to Christy Mulvey. Christy Mulvey secured a scholarship that allowed him to do the movie, to film this movie. So thank the both of you for helping Alejandro, and he's over at Columbia College. So story number one in Roots and Branches. So we're engaged in the process of creating a strategic plan, a new strategic plan for JJC, one that we've promised to be inclusive, collaboratively, that we will collaboratively craft a shared vision for the future of JJC. I want to thank Dr. Farmer for leading that effort, making good on my promise that we produce a shared vision. And some critical objectives have been identified. Clarifying student pathways from college to wherever they want to go, whether it's to a university or directly into the workforce. Some other themes have emerged. Our people are very important here at JJC. Message that I've sent and will most likely be repeated and can be repeated by many of our employees is that we're people before we're employees, right? So I'm going to pause there, because there are two components to that. Actually, there are three. You're people before you're employees. Right? Your people, your mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles, all of those things before your deans, foundation members, cabinet members, VPs, all of those things. An acknowledgement that your employer values you, sees you, acknowledges your full and complete identity. And guess what? Our students are people before they're students as well. And that means something to our students. When they see artifacts of that philosophy, that statement, in the form of clubs, spaces and places to celebrate aspects of their identity, that perhaps previously have been tolerated and not celebrated. Are you with me on that one? That's what JJC is all about. A lot of that is coming through in the strategic planning process. The timeline for that will be the board will see it in May, vote on it in May, and it will go live in July. And Board of Trustees, just FYI, you have a workshop about it tomorrow. No homework necessary. Strategically successful community colleges are deeply embedded in the communities they serve. So I want to pause there again. Thanks to many of you, we're able to do some pretty cool things. Whether with our elected officials, with our K through 12 partners, with our university partners, with our industry partners. We can do none of these cool things without you. Know that, similar to 12 by 12 by 12, JJC is committed to being good partners. As I'm out and about in the community, something I often share is, if we're not being a good partner, will you let me know? And so thankfully, we've got a new structure to support strategic engagement, devoting additional resources to support that vision, to cultivate new relationships, strengthen existing relationships, and not limited to municipalities, elected officials, social services organizations, economic development entities, K through 12 school districts, our university partners, and more. We've got a great partnership with PACE that, if you'll indulge me, I want to brag about just a little bit. We've partnered with PACE to provide free customized 2-week courses to assist qualified applicants in obtaining their CDL Class B permit. Now, the partnership with PACE is one where PACE covers the cost of tuition, training, books, fees, and other expenses related to the program. How about a hand for PACE? Very thankful to Congresswoman Underwood for her support of the new strategic direction of the Entrepreneurial Business Center. Representative Underwood secured over $350,000 in federal funding to support this new direction. The EBC now offers consultations, resources, seminars to assist entrepreneurs with the startup or expansion of their businesses. Services are provided at no cost within the district, include workshops and classes on small business financing, and we're using those resources to expand and build out a space at our city center campus to house the EBC and its expanded offerings. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the Will County Board. It's part of the reason why I asked if the Will County Board members were here. The Will County Board and the County Executive have allocated $10 million, a historic allocation from ARPA funding to support 4 institutions: University of St. Francis, Arvid's here today, Governor's State University, Lewis University, and JJC. Each institution has been allocated $2.5 million to increase the pipeline, to support the pipeline, to produce more teachers, and to produce more nurses. At JJC, this will mean if you want to be a teacher, start with us. If you want to be a nurse, start with us. We've allocated $5,000 annually per student, which will impact 500 students over the course of this grant. Will County Heroes Grant, most likely you've heard about it. May I get a big round of applause for the Will County Board, Jennifer Bertino-Tarrant. Before I go to the next slide, I want to give a shout out to Arvid. Arvid was our leader in this. He attended all the meetings, wrote all the proposals. So Arvid, thank you for your leadership. In the fall of '23, we'll be launching a respiratory therapy program. It's a $2 million project for us that takes 7,000 square feet of previously unused space that away to build and develop a respiratory care program. A program that will train therapists to diagnose and treat airway and breathing disorders. The need for those trained professionals is growing, and JJC stands ready and positioned to meet that need. Now you'll see a video here that I'll play a few more times, but Stephanie Braun virtually cut the ribbon here. So if you weren't paying attention the first time, I'm going to go back and play it again, and just want to acknowledge and draw your attention to a few things. First of all, she's got an Oculus Quest headset, which Santa bought for Kainoa a few years ago, and it's mostly used by me now. So at JJC, we're committed to creating immersive, engaging learning experiences for our students. Last week, Stephanie virtually cut the ribbon on the 3D printing, virtual reality, and augmented reality lab, a space that will serve as an incubator for cool things, for the use of augmented reality and virtual reality. The world that you see, Stephanie virtually cutting the ribbon in, was created by Casey Case in our media services department here at JJC. My hope is that space will create really cool things. And who knows, English 101 of the future may look very similar to that. I'm going to play it again so you could see Stephanie kind of not cutting, chopping, slicing with the sword, the virtual ribbon. Exactly, exactly. So all that can be found on our Romeoville campus, north on 55 and Weber Road. I want to take just a minute to give you all a heads up on where we are in terms of enrollment, and also talk a little bit about where we are this semester. Of course, the numbers are not final yet for the spring semester. 56% female, 44% male. The vast majority of our students are under 25. Our demographics here, next year, I want to see Native Hawaiian on this demographics. I'm going to enroll in some classes and get that number up to compete with some of these other demographics. I do want to acknowledge, though, that the vast majority of our students, like many community colleges across the country, are part-time. Of those part-time students, they're taking a couple of classes. Of our full-time students, they're taking almost, 14 credits. We do know that students who are full-time are retained and persist and complete at much higher rates. So we're interested in incentivizing that behavior. I do want to acknowledge, I'm going to jump back. I do want to acknowledge that we are aware of the shifting demographics in higher education. And mind you, our society as a whole. If you're interested in higher ed at all, there's a book called The Great Upheaval by Art Levine. And in the middle of the book, Art talks about the shifting demographics in higher education, and then talks about the shifting demographics of our country. By 2050, we will be a majority-minority society. By 2060, the population over 65 will have doubled. So what does that mean for us in higher education? Gone are the days of Joliet Junior College. In 1901, that term meant we did freshman and sophomore years. The term university college then referred to junior and senior years. We were primarily, exclusively, a transfer institution. The slides you'll see today confirm that JJC is a comprehensive community college. We serve students before they even come to us. We've got programs for almost every interest, credit and non-credit. We're committed to taking students from wherever they are to wherever they want to be. And that's a huge task, one that we're up for. So our students come from 5 primary locations, right here in Joliet, in Plainfield, Romeoville, Bolingbrook, and Lockport. Some numbers in terms of headcount for fall of 22, we're up about 3%. Credit hour production, JJC produces about 200,000 credit hours annually. We're up 2%. Spring numbers are very similar. For spring, we're up 2.5% so far. Tuition credits up 4%. The summer headcount, we're actually up 14%. And tuition credit for summer, we're up 9%. If you consider that we are indeed a comprehensive community college, or rather the claim that we are, look no further than some of the things you see on this slide. Dual credits up 7.5%. And thanks to 12 by 12 by 12 and the support of our school districts, I anticipate that number is going to be even higher for fall of 2023. Students, before they get to us, our adult basic education and community services area, working with industry and non-credit, up 25%. Shows a deep commitment to the community. Shows that JJC is willing to offer things across a variety of interests. JJC is an emerging Hispanic serving institution. If you've spent any time here, you know that JJC is committed to creating and maintaining inclusive spaces, has allocated resources to support students and their complete identities. Center for Multicultural Access and Success, all the clubs we have, all of the resources to support, especially this emerging demographic. If you weren't already aware, we've got 19 sports. The board has seen to it that we've added a few over the last couple of years, am I right? The most recent being women's wrestling. So these are the 19 sports that we have available here. 419 student athletes, a really incredible mix. And invite all of you, if you haven't had a chance to visit our event center, will you let me know? Because it's a facility to behold. Last week, I had the opportunity to join about 25 other college employees and earned the mental health first aid certification offered here at JJC. As we emerge from the pandemic, and many of you have recognized that mental health with our student population, those challenges are on display. JJC, we've allocated significant resources. We have clinical technicians on staff, currently 5, to support our students. The care reports that you see here are reports that can be submitted by any faculty, any staff, to support a student in need. Of the 200 or so care reports submitted by our employees, 50 of those have engaged in services with our clinicians. Further proof that JJC supports our students inside and outside of the classroom. JJC is a pretty cool place to work. I want to acknowledge that. We've been recognized by Forbes as the top 64, I think 64 is the number, best employers by state, and by Diversity Magazine as one of the most promising places to work in community colleges. The numbers over on the right-hand side, we've got 1,300 total employees, many of them faculty and staff, administration, clerical, custodians, and their level of education breakdown as you might expect from an institution of higher learning. I want to take a moment to acknowledge and maybe take a step back. one of the things I do lose sleep over is the safety and security of our employees and our students. JJC has allocated significant resources to support the safety and security of our employees and our students. We've got 15 sworn officers here on campus, 20 campus safety officers, and yes, one four-legged officer who, he's not that, it's more bark than bite. Let's be honest with Storm, just a puppy dog. The facility that is over on that side of the campus is 4.5 times larger than the previous facility. It includes state-of-the-art dispatch area, a training room, and a command center that can also double as an emergency operations center. Very proud of the resources we've allocated to support JJC's police department. When this ribbon was cut, Chief Campbell there, who's on military leave right now, worked with the NAACP to sign 10 shared principles of community responsive policing. Let me take a quick look at our budget, both revenues and expenses. Property taxes account for 58%. When community colleges were first envisioned, there was a three-legged stool: property taxes, state allocations, and tuitions. First of all, there are more legs here, more pieces of the pie. The state has, across the country, divested from public higher education. Property taxes account for more than ever before. So if you own a home in our 7 counties or a business in our 7 counties, thank you. And I don't mean that facetiously. I mean thank you. We are the community's college. Part of the reason we do as much as we do is because we acknowledge our role as the community's college. We aspire to keep tuition as low as possible here at JJC. We're committed to access. And state funding, while in single digits, in a few slides here, I will offer some hope. Our expenditures, as to be expected, are mostly in salaries and benefits. Other consists of contractual obligations, supplies, and travel expenses. We'll be sure to make these slides available as well. So the hope I referenced. In March, JJC hosted Governor Pritzker and Lieutenant Governor Stratton. Many of you elected officials were here in the event center to celebrate the governor's proposal, an allocation of an extra $100 million for higher education, for the monetary award program specifically, from $600 million to $700 million. A big deal, because at JJC, 10% of our students, nearly 2,600 students, access MAP grants. Additionally, before I go on to the next slide, the governor's budget proposes an additional 7% increase to community colleges. That hasn't happened in over 20 years. I'm thankful to be part of a state that values higher education in this way. While I would love to see the 8% doubled, I feel like we'll get there. I'm thankful that I'm part of a state that invests in higher education. I'm going to offend my previous college and my previous state. I'm coming from a state where the counties in and around Phoenix and the counties in and around Tucson got $0 from the state for their community college districts. So thankful to the governor and his proposal, thankful to the lieutenant governor for choosing JJC as one of the stops on their tour to highlight their proposal. You know, this one's just another good one. So this is the second Roots and Branches. For those of you who know Representative Natalie Manley, all of her personality comes through in this one. I'm just going to let you watch it.
I was pulling in today and I saw those faces, you know, those moms. I could see them. They're like, I know exactly what they're thinking. I know exactly how they feel. And I just want to tell them it's all going to be okay. Our family unit was very close in that I thought my immediate family included my grandparents, my aunt, and my cousins. When they said, who's your immediate family, I thought it was them. And didn't find out till much later that it wasn't them, but I always thought of them that way, so we were always together. Nonetheless, you know, it was up to me to provide a lifestyle for her and to take care of her and I. And so the only way I knew to do that was through education. But when I came here, and I came here on MAP grants, on Pell grants, did everything I could to focus on getting from point A to point B. And that for me was getting my education and being able to make money so I could support my daughter and I. Laura Conrad believed in me before I believed in me. And if it was not for her, I would not be here today. I was tired. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this education. I don't know, you know, it's never going to end, these long nights. And I walked into the counseling office, the academic counseling office, and she was there. And I didn't seek her out, and I don't know if she recognized in me, but we got to talking. And she helped me plan out the rest of my semesters. She said, you're going to do this, you're going to do this. But I remember saying to Laura, you know, I'm going to be 40 years old by the time I graduate from college. And she said, well, you're going to be 40 years old anyway. You may as well be a college graduate when you get there. One day, and this is kind of symbolic to what JJC has been for me in my life, I met Sister Sharon Frederick on the bridge. She was there on behalf of University of St. Francis. And I was getting close to the time when I would have to start thinking, what was I going to do next? And Sister Sharon said, come to University of St. Francis, we'll help you. And so JJC helped not only me get started, but they helped me bridge to University of St. Francis. Nobody really owns their own success, right? It's the efforts of many, many people. It's the experiences that you sometimes endure, sometimes enjoy, whatever the case may be. But it's the people that help you get from point A to point B. Education to being able to take care of you and your daughter. That to me, I'm an accountant, so everything is very linear, right? When you get that confidence, when you start to rack up those credits and those grades, and you start thinking about things you might want to do in life, once that confidence, and that's what JJC did for me. It gave me the confidence to take the next step.
That was a paid endorsement from Dr. Arvid Johnson right there. I knew you were coming today, so I thought we'd throw something in for you. Will the members of the JJC Foundation please stand and be recognized if you're able to do so? I want to give a huge shout out, just wave. Members of the foundation, thank you. I want to thank you all for your support and what you do. JJC's Foundation is #1 in the state, competes nationally. Just a fantastic organization. Thank you for all of your support for what we do at JJC. Christy, thank you for your leadership. JJC Foundation in FY21 awarded $800,000. In FY22, they said, we're going to award $900,000. And their goal, as you might imagine, this next year is to award how much, Christy? $1 million. Okay, $1 million. Really appreciate all of the support from the JJC Foundation. Some of the future focus things that are starting to emerge as a result of the strategic plan, we're going to be looking to expand out west. There's a code word for that here internally. It's called westward expansion. We've done yeah, I know. I've said too much. We'll be looking to do more things in Grundy County. It's no coincidence that I've been spending a lot of time in Morris and in Grundy County, really interested in increasing our footprint there. And the board's going to have a presentation in May with some of the key players in Morris and in Grundy County. Many of them are in this room today. There's certainly some emerging trends. Student experience. There's a student experience statement. I want to give you a sneak peek of what that might sound like. At Joliet Junior College, we'll provide immersive, engaging learning experiences, a welcoming environment that empowers students to acquire new knowledge and explore new paths related to personal and professional growth. Meaningful education and co-curricular experiences that give students the skills and sense of purpose. Innovative technologies, facilities, and spaces. And an inclusive community that values diversity, seeks equitable outcomes, where all students feel a sense of belonging. We're also moving forward some things around design thinking and prototyping to do some of those really big things. This is not lost on me, how lucky I am to be standing in front of all of you. Significance of JJC as the nation's first. One of 48 community colleges in the state, 1,038 strong nationally. JJC started a movement that's become a phenomenon that is the modern American community college. We intend to continue leading the way, but we cannot do it without you. All of you make this possible, each and every one of you, and your partnerships, whether through the city, or the banks, or the school districts, or the universities, or the economic development entities, or the legislators, and on and on and on. If we're not being good partners, will you let me know? Thanks for coming today, everybody.